Hey guys, Flippin' Landlord Ninja here with two guys' take on real estate. Today I'm going to take some time to talk about 5 different ways that you can get started with $0 because you know what's one of the biggest questions that everyone always asks is, well, I don't have any money, how can I get started? We get asked this all the time on our TikTok lives and on YouTube and even in just, out in the field. People are always asking us, well, I want to get started in real estate, but I have no money. Well, you can do it. Wow! So as always, we really appreciate all the great comments you guys having and all the great subscribers. And if you could also smash that like button, we really appreciate it.
Two guys take on real estate.
I've been doing this now since I was 16 years old, and it's been a wild ride, and I love real estate. And honestly, it's now been over 26 years. Like, wow. All right, so I know, I'm dating myself. Woo!
Where has my life gone?
But it's been fantastic, and I love real estate. I mean, even the ups, the downs, there's so many different things on it. But one of the best things about it is the ability to leverage and get in with zero money. And even for just a new person just getting started. And I want to talk about the 5 different ways that you could do this today, tomorrow. I mean, start now. So number 1 would be partnering with someone else. You don't have to have all the money. You can have the experience. You could be the one that does all the hard lifting. So that's a great way to get started and really grow your portfolio is find someone else that might have some capital that they're looking to deploy, and you can offer them your skill set, your time, because time is also a very valuable resource that once you use up that time, it's gone. So they might just have the money, but they don't have the time. Maybe they're focused on working their 9 to 5, and you can now leverage your time if you have that availability and maybe some skill sets. Maybe you're a great carpenter or plumber or have that expertise, or you're, another expertise that you can offer to that team. And therefore, you're not necessarily bringing money, but you're bringing time and value. But of course, when you're starting a partnership, you need to make sure you guys know what the expectations are. So work up an operating agreement and make sure everything is in writing, because you don't want any misunderstandings, and you want to understand, well, all right, so said is bringing, X amount of money, and I'm bringing, this skill set, and these are the expectations from each party. And for that person bringing this money, they're going to get X percentage. And for my time, I'm going to get X. And that can always change over time too. You can modify that as there's less risk on their money, and maybe you're putting more time in. That could change over time, such as like an LLC. You can change equity or distributions on a yearly basis. So that's something you can constantly look over and change as you go. But this is a great way for you to get started with zero money by working with someone else who actually has cash. Or maybe they have a self-directed IRA, or wherever the cash might be. That is a great way. Or hey, maybe they have crypto, because that's the biggest thing. So they're looking to leverage that crypto right now, because maybe they're a huge, big multimillionaire from Doge. And so they can leverage that and put that into use. The second thing I want to talk about is borrowing hard money. And we've talked about this on our YouTube channel before, but you can use other people's money, and it's called hard money lending. And basically, often you can get them to lend you maybe 100% of the financing, as long as you're getting a good deal. So this is where it comes back to making sure you can know and find a fantastic deal. Because a hard money lender, they're not worried about your W-2, they're not worried about your credit score, they're worried about looking at that deal and making sure that if you aren't able to actually complete the deal, that when they take it back, they're still gonna get their money. So you're gonna need to make sure that they're probably in it for 60, 70% LTV. So then for you to kind of have that, make sure you're making a good thing, you're gonna need to get in for much less. So that's gonna be all about you really getting the hustle and finding a fantastic deal, whether it be driving for dollars, like there's the YouTube video that we have on here, or maybe it's finding pre-foreclosures or condemned property. I mean, these are all stuff we talk about here, and I'm sure you all watch these videos all the time, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. And more now than ever, there's so few deals out there, especially on the MLS, that you gotta be out there hunting. But when you find that deal, whether you partner with someone or now using hard money, this is the way. This is a way that you can get in and actually, without any of your own money, and leverage just your time to renovate the property and have a good connection with a hard money lender. So I'd actually reach out to any hard money lenders in your area and start building that relationship. And this way you know what they're looking for. Maybe they only want to invest in a certain area, or maybe they want to only invest in a certain type of property, single family or multifamily. Maybe they don't want to do rentals. They only want you to do fix and flips. Know what they're looking for, and you'll be a better target so that when you're looking for that property to meet that criteria. So the third way actually of getting in with zero money is actually called seller financing. So this is when you finding a fantastic deal, and you're basically, the owner doesn't have a mortgage or something like that, and they maybe don't need to sell right now, but you can negotiate something where there's a value that you can add, and you can basically, for a short term, maybe a 2 or 3 year loan where you're paying them interest, you take over the control of the property and basically building up value so that you can then basically refinance or BRRRR essentially with a bank in the 2 or 3 years down the road after you put in more value into the property. Maybe you're raising the rents, increasing the value of the property, or whatever it might be. Maybe they're even willing to give you a long-term loan, and they just don't want the headaches of managing a property, and they just want to kind of sit back and collect the residual income. And so maybe you're going to pay a little bit higher rate. So instead of a bank paying, right now you can get like 3.5%, 30-year average rate, maybe you're paying them 5%. And yeah, it's a little bit more, but if you don't have to have any of your own money tied up in the deal, that can be a win-win. Or you can eventually, once again, BRRRR out of it or refinance out in 3 to 5 years, whatever your timeline is, therefore getting them that fixed price that you've agreed to, and they're making some cash flow in the meantime, and then they get their set price. This is a great way to actually get in, but once again, it's all about hunting and finding that fantastic deal and negotiating with the seller for that deal. Number 4, that's gonna be rental arbitrage, or maybe like an Airbnb arbitrage. That's where you find a property that is a killer for like Airbnb, and you can put it together with a long-term lease with a landlord that allows you to sublease. So you wanna make sure you're allowing you to sublease, but then what you do is, if you have, for instance, you took over the rent as $1,000 a month, you then do some kind of Airbnb, which I recommend. They have a great platform, or there's also VRBO, and there's a few other platforms out there as well. But then what you can do is then use that platform to rent it out for more. So basically you're making the difference. So if you have an expenses of $1,000 plus maybe some cleaning fees, and then you're renting it out for $2,000, $2,500, you're making the difference on that split. And that can be a great way to get involved in real estate and investing with $0. And then eventually maybe you either scale that and getting more rental arbitrage, or what you do is you gotta then take that money and cash flow and invest that into other property. So you can buy your own rental property, and then now you own the property. Whatever it might be, this could be a great way. And so that's what you're gonna wanna look for, is good areas that Airbnb is allowed. So that's one thing you wanna make sure, because you don't wanna get caught, where Airbnb is going to get pushed out. So look at what's going on in that local community. Are they Airbnb friendly? Are they looking to get rid of Airbnb? Does it not exist? Just make sure you don't get caught with the regulations changing, and therefore you're caught paying for that whole lease and you can't actually make a profit. Number 5, it's one of the ones we talk about all the time on this YouTube channel and our TikToks, is wholesaling. And this is one of the best ways to get started at any age. You will, of course, if you're under 18, you're gonna need someone to actually legally sign for the contracts, but this is fantastic. You can get involved for little to no money. And that is where you are actually finding a property. So you're out there hunting a property. So once again, this is all about finding a good deal. You're out there finding a property. You put that under a contract with that owner well below the market value. And then you are then assigning that contract over to a investor, flipper, whatever, that is then able giving you a fee for that. So you're making a difference. And this can be such a great way to build capital. It can be a great way to build experience and network. And this, you could just focus on this and never get anything else. You can make it a great amount of money. One of our early TikTokers back in December made over $15,000 in one transaction. Fantastic. And we've had a couple others do the same thing. There is so much money to be made in wholesale, especially right now where people are looking for deals. They're all out there so hungry for deals. And maybe they have a regular 9 to 5. They can't go, all about running around. Or maybe they're focused on their current flips and they don't have time to go knock on 100 doors, but you do. So you can be that guy or that girl that gets them that deal. And honestly, if you have a deal, and this is asked to be all the time, well, what if I don't find a buyer? If you don't find a buyer right now, if you cannot find a buyer right now, the problem is not you finding a buyer, is that you didn't get a good deal. It's because right now, even if it's a kind of a moderate deal, they're selling like hotcakes. It's crazy right now. So I really recommend, you checking that out. It's another great way. So as always, guys, really appreciate everyone here. And if you are interested in more wholesaling, I really recommend you check out this wholesaling step-by-step. We even have some contracts that you can use right in the description. And if you have any questions, leave them there. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.